So hi, we're here today with Karl Gustafson, who has written a new book called I Hate Getting Old. So Karl, what prompted you to write your book?
I've been involved with seniors for quite some time, and what I've seen is some are having a great time, a lot are not. A lot are having a tough time, and they're not enjoying their old age, they're not really thriving. And so I wanted to write something that talks to those people and give them some ideas of what they can do to make aging be something that's really worthwhile for them, really something exciting for them.
Great. So do you hate getting old, as the title of your book suggests?
Really not at all, and the reason that's written that way is to catch the attention of people who have said to themselves, I hate getting old, and so it speaks to them. And it's not the premise of the book is what to do if you hate getting old and what you can do to turn that around.
So Karl, where does your interest in seniors come from?
As long as I can remember, I've been drawn to the oldest person in the room. I've always enjoyed talking to older people. I don't know whether it's because they were easier to talk to or they had more interesting stories, but I've always been drawn to the oldest person in the room. And so all my life I've talked to seniors, and over the last 15 years or so I've been working in that field, and just everyone has an incredible story. Everyone has an incredible life story and the things that made them, and I love to hear those stories.
So Karl, what's your superpower?
My superpower is listening. I'm a really good listener, and had one girlfriend who said I listen too well, and she's not the only one who said that, where I hear things that people didn't know they were necessarily telling me, and I listen well. I get a lot from body language and from how people are saying something, and so I'm just a really good listener.
So Karl, why are you so excited about being alive today?
I think it's an absolutely fascinating time to be alive, and I've always been interested in older folks, and for the first time in a long time, not only are demographics pushing forward a lot of older folks with the baby boomers, and the baby boomers who now 60 is a new 40, or I've even seen 100 is a new 65, and crazy things like that, but boomers are really changing the perception of aging. And not only are elders being pushed forth, they're really being called forth. We've got a lot of troubles on this planet, and I think that elders really have a lot of the solutions if they put their mind to it. And so I'm really fascinated by what's going to come out of as elders come forward and what comes forward from them.
Interesting. So Karl, I noticed that you talk a lot about spirituality in your book, and where does that come from? What's that all about?
Spirituality to me is having a relationship with greater power, and that may be Mother Nature, it may be the universe, it may be God, Allah, Yahweh, whatever. That's not important. As they say, there are many paths to God. But I think to make some peace with yourself in this realm, and to make peace with yourself going into the next realm. We have lots of teaching that tell us what it might be like to go into the next life, but we really don't know. We really don't know. And so I think you've got to, in that uncertainty, really come to some peace in yourself with who you are and your place in the planet.
So Karl, along those lines, what is the path of spiritual aging that you refer to?
What the path of spiritual aging is the book leads people through a process, and it takes them through different things that they need to, skills they need to learn to be an elder. And these are generally life skills, and people have not had the time to do the work necessarily that they need to do. They've been busy with a career, busy with a family, maybe busy with both, and really haven't had the time to prepare themselves. And so the path of spiritual aging is really this, what's written in the book, and this process that takes people into elderhood, takes people into a fulfilling old age.
Right, and you had mentioned previously that that we prepare ourselves for retirement.
Right.
Financially, we prepare ourselves, and so this is a different take on that preparation, isn't it?
It's really preparing yourself emotionally. And again, people have done a lot of stuff. They've saved money, they've saved up the time, and a lot of people have saved up living till that time. But they get to retirement, they become empty nesters, and they really don't know who they are. They've lost a lot of definitions of themselves. And so they've got to prepare themselves in a way so that they're ready, that they can handle being by themselves, that they can handle not being at work, they can handle not being with kids, not having a family to raise. And so it's really preparing yourself, doing the work that needs to be done to really get to the point of enjoying your old age.
Why would someone need coaching into aging? Aren't we all going to age anyhow? Isn't it going to happen anyway?
Aging, we're all aging. We're aging from the day we're born. From the minute we're born, we're getting older. And a lot of people are in denial about that. And it's like a lot of things. We know what to do, but we don't do them. And what you really need is someone to hold your hand, hold you accountable, and to walk you through this and say, you're doing it right, you're doing the right thing, and to really help people along the way, to serve as a guide. And there's an African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, travel alone. If you want to go far, travel together. And by traveling together, by traveling with someone in the aging process, you can go further into it, you can go deeper into it.
Along those lines, Karl, who would benefit from talking with you about aging in this journey?
A lot of people. There, Bill Thomas, who's done some neat work with the Eden Alternatives and different things with nursing home, but he's been involved in conscious aging for 25 years. And he said there are basically three attitudes that people have towards aging. First is denial, where they're really not, they're just saying, I'm not going to do this. And that's one way to do it. Another is to grit your teeth and just muscle through it and be very stoic and not enjoy yourself, but just make it through. And then the third attitude is as an enthusiast. And that's where I really want to take people, is to be enthusiasts. And so most people are walking around in denial about their aging. They don't want to face it. They don't want to face mortality. What often happens is something like a parent dying, and all of a sudden you understand, not necessarily that you're next, but there's no one older than you in your family. And all of a sudden you're the next generation, you're the oldest generation. And I think that when you come to that realization and to say, gee, I'm contemplating the next 20, 25 years of life, and I want that to be something, I don't want to be just counting birthdays till I die. I really want to be enjoying myself, making the most of it. And I think really to see aging as not as decline, but as aging as growth. And Jane Fonda talks about aging being an up and down, and instead being a staircase all the way up. And so someone who's interested in that, someone who's having a hard time right now, someone who's having a hard time with a birthday, an upcoming birthday, or one that's just happened, and it's really set them to thinking, and they want some some different ideas than what they have in their head necessarily.
So most of us.
Most of us, yes. Yeah.
Clearly are coaching people along these lines. So
Mhm.
you've written the book, but you're also there for people as well.
Mhm.
And what would someone expect to get out of your coaching program or working with you along those lines on a personal level?
Right. The biggest thing is to have someone there with them as they do the work. And becoming an elder isn't just a matter of the calendar. You just don't become it by reaching a certain age. It is something that it's a role you've got to take on, and so it's really to have someone to not necessarily hold your hand, but to be there with you as you do the work, as you come to some broader realizations about how the world works and just a general acceptance of how things are. And so those sort of skills, there are other skills will be learned along the way as well. And one of the neat things is, one of the fun parts is, what I want people to do is I want people who come into the program and they hate the idea of getting old. They hate the very idea of getting old, and by the end of the program they're ready to throw a party, to throw a jubilee party, and to really celebrate their old age. Not their retirement, not their becoming an empty nester, but to really celebrate their old age. To put a capstone on middle age and say, I'm ready to move to the next level. I'm ready to move to the next part of my life. And so really to get people so excited about their aging that they're ready to throw themselves a party.
Karl, thank you so much for sharing all that with us, with the audience, with me, and clearly you don't hate getting old.
No.
You actually have a lot of enthusiasm for it,
Yeah.
and willingness to share that with everyone. So, do you have any closing thoughts or words of wisdom that you'd like to share with us?
I want people to get excited about getting old, and I just think it is fascinating to be part of this cohort and a witness to this, and I think over the next 5 to 10 years things are going to change dramatically in terms of how seniors are perceived, and it's going to be because seniors are the ones who are making the difference. They're going to say, I'm not going to stand for not being listened to. They're the ones who are going to say, pay attention to me, I matter, don't just write me off. And so I think it's an absolutely fascinating time to be alive, and if this helps people, I love helping people, so that'd be great.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Karl.
Thank you, appreciate it.